So today we're going to talk about changing between forms of a quadratic. And so we've talked about two forms and we're going to add a third form. So the first form we've gone over. Well, I guess this was the second one, but we talked about vertex form. So y equals a x minus h squared plus k. And then at the beginning, we've talked about standard. In standard form was y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And then we talked about, well, what might be new today is intercept, which is a lot like just factoring. So intercept form y equals a x minus p x minus q. And we're going to talk about they all have an a in, so the a is going to be the same in all of these. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about intercept, because it's just like factoring, except you'll notice in parentheses, it's just x minus something and x minus something. So one more step than factoring, but it's a pretty easy step. So we'll be taking a look at those. So in all the problems today, we're going to be changing into all three forms. So the first one we're going to look at is if we have an equation in standard form. So 3x squared plus 12x plus 9. So the first thing we're going to do is let's put that in vertex form. So again, this is y equals a x minus h squared plus k. Well, you guys have done this all the time because we find the vertex. So x is part of the vertex. And in this case, to make it even easier, I might just say, well, our h value is the opposite of b over 2a. So the opposite of b, so 12 over 2 times 3. So 12 over 6 is 2. So to get our k value, we plug it in. So k equals 3 times 2 squared, 12 times 2 plus 9. So let's see, 2 squared is 4. So we have 12 minus 24 plus 9. So negative 12 plus 9 is negative 3. So we have our vertex, we have our h and our k, and while our a value right here, a is 3. So we could rewrite this equation, y equals a is 3, x, since it's positive 2, minus 2 squared minus 3. Because then we took our vertex here and plugged it in, remembering x is the opposite. So to change this into intercept form, we factor it. So we're going to do the box and circle. So you guys have done this. Like I said, we're just putting all these ideas together. So let's see, we had 3x squared minus 12x plus 9. Now remembering on the outside is a times c. So we have 3 times 9 is 27. So multiplies to 27, 1 and 27, 3 and 9, and we need it to add to negative 12. So that's going to be those with them both negative. So we get negative 3x, negative 9x. So now one of these sides we need to put 3x on the box, on the top corner. It doesn't matter if it's the top or the side because 3 goes into both of them. So maybe I put 3x here. So this would be x minus 3 minus 3. So we have factored it into 3x minus 3, x minus 3. And we are not solving this like we did before. We're just leaving it as the equation. Now, the only thing you'll notice on intercept is you'll see that a out in front, and it's just x minus something in the parentheses. So our second set of parentheses is good, but this first one, we have that 3 next to it. So all we have to do is divide 3 out of the first parenthesis. So this becomes 3x, 3 divided by 3 is 1, times x minus 3 equals y. So we have it in intercept vertex, and in standard form, that same equation. Now, one thing you can do to check these is we can go to Desmos and say, okay, 3x to the power of 2 minus 12x plus 9. And we can type it in vertex form. So we got 3x minus 2 squared minus 3. And then let's see, what did we have for 3x minus 1, x minus 3? And if we look at our graphs, if it's all the same, you'll notice we only have one graph on here. So if I took off the purple, the green, the blue, and I click them on, they're all the same graph. So that's a nice way that we can double check our work here. So the next one we're going to look at, let's say you have it in intercept form. So y equals 2x plus 1, x minus 3. And we have to write it in the other forms. So let's do standard first. Standard's really easy. It's using a skill from last year. All we have to do is take our equation and multiply it out. And you could multiply the parentheses first and then by 2, but I tend to multiply that 2 in just to the first parenthesis. So 2x plus 2, x minus 3. And now we do our distributing. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Combine like terms, and we'd have y equals 2x squared minus 4x minus 6. So then we got to put it in vertex form. Well, vertex could be really easy here. So we need to find our vertex, and we could do it two ways. We could say, okay, let's do that way we know, that our h value is the opposite of b over 2a. So we end up with 4 over 2 times 2, which is 1. Plug that in to get our k value, so 2 times 1 squared, 4 times 1 minus 6. So let's see, we got 2 minus 4 is negative 2, or 2 minus 4, negative 2 minus 6 is negative 8. And so we have everything. Y equals, again, our a value is the same in all of these. So 2x minus 1 squared minus 6. So the a is really easy to find. You could also, if you looked at this, some of you might say, well, our vertex is right in the middle of our intercepts. So if we were to look at this, we know our intercepts are at negative 1 and 0, because again, we're setting those parentheses equal to 0, and 3, 0. And we know our vertex is right in the middle. So we know our x value, negative 1 plus 3 divided by 2, is at 1. And then we could plug that in to our equation. We could do 2 times 1 plus 1 times 1 minus 3 to get our y value of negative 8. And why did I write negative 6 there? Sorry, that should be negative 8. So we have vertex, standard, and intercept. And again, to check these, nice easy self-check, we'll go to Desmos, 2x plus 1, x minus 3, 2x squared minus 4x minus 6, 2x minus 1 squared minus 8. Move this, hopefully, yep, it's all just one graph, so we're good. And so the last type, let's take a look at vertex form. So let's say we have 2x plus 3 squared minus 50 equals y. I don't know why I always go into standard form first. So standard form, we just have to multiply it out. And remembering that squared means we have it twice. So 2x plus 3, x plus 3 minus 50. I'll distribute the 2 first, so 2x plus 6 only to the first parenthesis. And then we have to distribute these together. So 2x times x, 2x squared, 2x times 3, 6x, 6 times x, 6x, 6 times 3, 18, and we still have that minus 50. So if we combine like terms here, we have 2x squared plus 12x, 18 and 50 is minus 32. Oh, and I'm sorry, this was in the way here, you couldn't see that. And then to put it into factored form, or excuse me, I always call it factored form, intercept form. All we're going to do is factor it. So I'll make the box and circle. So we have 2x squared, 12x, negative 32. And again, remembering it's a times c on the outside. So 2 times negative 32, negative 64. So multiplies to 64. 1 and 64, 2 and 32, 8 and 8. So we need these to add to 12. Let's see, I must be missing one. Does 4 go in there? 4, 16. Well, if this was negative, that would give us negative 64 and add to 12. So negative 4x and 16x. Okay, so find the outside. One side has to have 2x, and again, it doesn't matter whether it's the side or top since 2 goes into both the first column and the first row. So 2x and x. So this would be minus 2 to give us 4x plus 16. So we factored this into x minus 2 and 2x plus 16. But again, for intercept form, in the parentheses, it's just x minus or x plus. So the second parenthesis, we have that 2 next to the x. So we just divide everything by 2. I'll bring that out in front. So we still have x minus 2 in our first parenthesis, and our second one would be x plus 8 equals y. So again, I like to always double check this, see if I got it right. So going back to Desmos here, 2 x minus 2, oops, forgot the parentheses, x minus 2, x plus 8. So there's one of them. Let's see, we had 2x squared, oops, that didn't turn out, squared plus 12x minus 32. And then our vertex form, x plus 3 squared minus 50. Big reveal, let's see if we got it right. And sometimes I zoom out just to make sure. Yep, it's all one graph, so we changed it into all 3 forms. So what you're going to be doing for your assignment is you're going to be going through some problems, and we actually did harder ones here because we always had an a term that was greater than 1, and you're going to be going through and trying to change it into all 3 forms.